Well, hello and welcome to episode 6 of Oversteer and Overshare podcast. We're sorry for missing last week. It was an off week. We just didn't have much to talk about, and we're a growing podcast, so we just decided to keep it moving. But hello, welcome back. This is after Singapore, F1 Academy and F1. How are we feeling, wife?
Um, so do we want to start with F1 Academy first, since that's what we saw first?
Sure,
Like in
yeah.
the order of the race weekend, I guess.
This was your first week watching F1 Academy. What are your initial thoughts before I go over some points and
This
everything?
was my first time committing to watching F1 Academy. Like, because I saw China, but that was really like the only time I'd watched. I think that the F1, and obviously the season finale for them is in Vegas. So I need to get caught up before we go to Vegas and watch that. I thought the race overall was pretty interesting. I don't know the players as much as I do F1, so I can't say if that was like, I don't feel like my interest was there, but I think it was a better race than
Yeah.
the F1 race, which we'll talk about later.
Well, they're small cars. I mean, they're allowed
Yeah.
to really scrap on these street circuits. I will say, I always say this whenever we watch these racing, but like it's always, I don't think they do a good job of explaining what the skill level is, the expectations are for these girls, because you see it in F1 TV and you assume like since F2 and F3 are in F1 TV, then it's kind of the next step, right? Like the lower step. But really, like there's several, they would leave F1 Academy, go through several regional series, and then arrive at F3. So I don't think they do a good job of like setting expectations because they are really inexperienced. I mean, a lot of the girls are like right out of karting when they start this season.
This is definitely like the first real single seater experience for a lot of them. So the cars are a lot smaller, they're a lot more competitive. I thought the races were really good. Leah Block won yesterday, round 1.
Yep.
And then today Maya Woog. So I thought the races were really good. They had some rain. Honestly, the races, I think the F1 Academy races were more enjoyable than the F1 race.
It did have some rain at the end, yeah. And I'm telling you, I've been saying this for a while, but feeder series always let them race in the rain, which is hilarious to me that F1 doesn't. But like feeder series are always much better at being braver, and they need that experience.
Do you have a favorite F1 Academy driver besides your BFF,
yeah,
Nina Gate?
Nina, because we're home skillet biscuits. Yeah, we're best friends. No, I mean, you can really see the skill gap. Like you saw today, it's basically, and I'll introduce them here with point standings in a second, but it's basically Dorian Penn and Maya Woog. Like it's their show.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it would be Dorian Penn's season. She started off really strong. Maya Woog has come back. But so right now, as the standings, we're going to try and introduce you guys to new race series. And with that is introducing you to the characters. So I'll give you 2 drivers today to learn. Dorian Penn is the Mercedes Junior, and she has 151 points. Maya Woog is the Ferrari Junior. She's 142 points. They're 1 and 2 in the championship, and the next closest person is 101 Ella Lloyd. So it's a ways away. So it's really those
Ella
two.
Lloyd is McLaren.
Ella Lloyd is McLaren. Every team has to sponsor one of the F1 Academy girls. It's not like the F2 and F3 where like they get the driver program or they don't. Like every team has at least one driver on the field. So it's 9 points difference. They have 2 races left. They always do a sprint and a feature with an inverse grid pole for race 1. So 2 races left, should be exciting.
There are some the way you said that for teams was a little confusing for me. Because
what do you mean?
You made it sound like there's more teams than just the teams that sponsor than the F1 teams that sponsor cars.
Every F1 team has to sponsor one driver.
Right, but then you've got like some random outliers like the Charlotte Tilbury car and the
Correct.
Puma, and okay.
But it's not like F2 where they don't have to sponsor a driver. They just do sponsor a lot of the drivers.
Yeah. Susie really cracked that whip there and said,
yeah, well, it's probably also pretty cheap. Like, it doesn't cost a lot for the F1 teams to do that,
Especially they're already there. And I do think that having the F1 team sponsor an Academy car like that is a really big step forward in getting some even playing field for the girls on the grid.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about, so I think I've had a lot of fun this year, like mapping out the race series and kind of where everybody goes and what the ladders are. So I want to explain where the last 2 champions went. And all of these are free to watch on YouTube. So if you want to keep up with them, these championships are free to watch on YouTube. So Marta, who was 2 seasons ago, went to GB4, which is a British regional formula. So it's only in Britain. I think their season does go outside of Britain, but it's mainly British tracks. And it's cool because it's like famous British tracks that you don't get in the F1 calendar or the endurance calendar, like Brands Hatch is there. I think Oulton's part of it. But it's an F4 level regional to Great Britain. Totally free to watch on YouTube. She then went to Le Mans Cup, which is, I like to call it the F3 of endurance racing. So she switched from single seaters to sports car racing, and Le Mans Cup is the third tier feeder series for WEC. So it goes WEC, and then European Le Mans, and then this Le Mans Cup. And so that's where Marta is. She's part of the Iron Dames team, excuse me. And then Abby Pulling, last year's champion, went to GB3. So that's good news because it basically means the F1 Academy championship is worth more. Instead of going to GB4, now she's going to GB3. So same everything I just said about GB4, except it's an F3 formula. And she's doing fairly well. She's like in the top 5, I think. And she's still under the Alpine banner.
I do feel, and Dorian Pong.
Dorian Pong.
Yeah, man, that felt really weird to say. She is going to be timing out this season, and Maya Woog is as well, I think.
You can only do 2 seasons
Yeah.
in F1 Academy.
I feel like that's a bit of a bummer for me because now that I, like, obviously, God, what was the show called again? I can't remember the name of the show.
The Academy.
Okay, so there is a Netflix show called The Academy, similar to Drive to Survive, but
Which
it
is good. I like it.
I think it is, if you like racing, you will like The Academy, I think, because it is more business, it is less drama.
They did a really good job of knowing the uphill battle these women face and saying, like, we have to show the racing, not the catty bullshit, because they'll just get made fun of for being women and being on a reality TV show. So they really prioritize the racing in the TV show. What? This is an audio medium. You can't leave this huge pauses for people.
The amount of side eye I want to give you, because I've told you that. I know, pointed out.
I'm repeating it.
I pointed out that I know you just said it like in a way where it's like, man, that T-Bone really cares about. He really knows about the struggle women go through, and you didn't. I had to point out that is why it's more racing driven. Like these episodes, truly, it's like half of the episode is a race. And so you get a lot more racing focus than the little like drama that you get with Drive to Survive. But
yeah,
yes,
to be fair though,
because
I've watched F1 Academy ever since it came out, and I now follow their careers in other sports. So I would argue that I support women more. You
can say whatever you want to say, husband. I don't know who my favorite driver is.
F1 Academy?
Yeah.
I mean, Nina's my favorite because she left a comment on one.
I really like Dorian Pong, and I don't want to say because she's winning, because I really like how Mercedes treats her truly like a third driver.
Mercedes does treat her very fairly.
Yeah,
you never see Maya Woog around in Ferrari.
Right, like Ferrari's not posting Maya Woog on their posts, but every time.
To be fair, I think Susie would murder Toto if he didn't.
Yeah. Kind of related to that, did you see? I'm sure you didn't see. There was a quote from Susie saying that Toto had, God, I don't want to misquote it, but the vibe was like Toto heard how like firm and like very businesslike Susie can be in meetings, and it made him uncomfortable, like to think of his wife in those scenarios.
Quit talking in my.
Oh, sorry. I thought last time we decided that we needed to.
Last time we decided to look at the camera.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still our mics probably will still pick each other up.
Sorry, I'll look at the camera. But yeah. Toto basically was saying that like it was very weird for him as a husband to see his wife being like very businessy and firm in these like male dominated areas.
Do we want to talk about the Singapore race, or do we want to talk about the NLS?
I think we should talk about Singapore because we just did Singapore for F1 Academy, and then we'll move to miscellaneous bullshit.
Another lame ass race.
Very boring.
Race. I mean, Lando had some fight in him at the start, which was good to see. And he didn't pass Max. To be fair to Lando, and I'm not one to suck Lando off, but to be fair to Lando, no one really passed anyone this race, so like him not passing Max is reasonable.
Lando had a fantastic start, which is...
Yeah, he remembered he wants a championship.
Every time we watch a race, you go, great start from Lando, and it's never a great race, never a great start from Lando.
I would argue this one wasn't either. It was a great turn,
This one was a great start from Lando, and I said that, I was like, oh my god, like, Lando is doing so well. And as we've discussed earlier, I want Oscar, and he wants Lando for world champion. But I thought Lando... Like, I saw his move, turn 1, turn 2, and I was like, Lando wants it. Like, 2 places up immediately, lap 1. I was like, he wants it.
Well, and I want Lando, but I want a Lando that deserves it. And for a good chunk of the season, he didn't. He just kept. Now it seems like Oscar's kind of the whiny one, and Lando's more get his ass in gear and do it.
This race was really whiny for Oscar, which was
Yeah.
disappointing because that's why I've fallen off of Lando. Is I hate the whining. I hate listening to these millionaire grown men go on their radio and go, "It's not fair. No one's treating me fairly." I fucking hate it. Like they're
Unless you're Lewis in 2021.
fine, yeah, but like that was a real battle, right? This battle between Lando and Oscar, like this was really the only time where I felt like Lando just doesn't have a chance to get the championship. And I have been arguing that I think he's still got time. I did not feel like I was like, okay, well, you're just.
So let's do a points update before we go too far into the championship. So after this race, Oscar has 336 points. Lando has 314, so he's 22 points away from Oscar. A race win is worth 25, as a reminder. So he gained 3 points. Max has 273 points, so he's 41 points off of Lando and 63 off of Oscar. But I don't know, man. He's looking good. I think he's got it in him.
I think if the roles were switched, like if Lando would never be able to overcome that gap, Max could. Max did, man, I guess yesterday, based off of, if anyone heard Max saying, like, Max's comment in the post-qualifying interviews where he said that he would remember Lando giving him dirty air and messing up his starting position, he was not letting Lando through today. Not that I felt like Lando was really fighting to get past Max, which I do have something sort of related to that, but, man, Max really could come back, especially I think maybe last race I wouldn't have believed, like, yeah, mathematically Max is in the championship battle. I wouldn't have like thought it was really possible. Max can do it. If anyone can do it, Max can do it. But this race, seeing how whiny Oscar was, I was like, maybe Max does do it.
To be fair to Oscar, he has been given the short end of the stick pretty much every time this season. Like, I think Monza asking him to move over, that was BS. You know, like he has been a good team player this whole season, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden we're racing? Okay, I get it from Lando, but at the same time, it's a championship.
I did think that the pass Lando did was totally fair. I think that that's just a lap one incident, and Oscar should not have gone on the radio and said, oh, like all the things he did. I don't think he should have been like, that's just shitty driving, whatever. I don't think he should have said any of that.
Yeah, they both stayed on the road. You know, it was minor damage, but it was a little bit of damage.
Racing. Yeah, Lando had his elbows out for the first time this season. Like, I mean, I guess the second time. The first time was Montreal when he crashed into his teammate, but he like had his elbows out and he was really fighting for this. I thought Oscar was really whiny. And then the FIA noted it to investigate. So do we want to talk about whether the FIA should have any, like, whether they should be reviewing inter-team battles like that?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, leave us a comment on what you think, but the argument was, should the FIA investigate inter-team incidents like that? And I think no. I think you let the team deal with that. The FIA is for fair racing, and if two teammates who are leading the championship want to fuck each other up, I don't think that impacts the rest of the field in any way.
I think the FIA should investigate incidents like this. I think especially there's so many teams now, like Ferrari does it, McLaren does it, you know, where they're like, Williams is doing it even though they're fucking not competitive like that. But these teams are going, we don't have a number one driver. Like, which just isn't true. They keep saying they don't have number one drivers. And so in that instance, like McLaren, where you have these multiple race incidents where you're just like, they're clearly favoring one driver over another. And it's really hard as a fan, if you're a fan of the team and not of a driver, to be like, okay, they are treating people fairly. I think the FIA needs to get involved. I think it's the only way to have an unbiased interjection in a scenario that might be unfair.
I don't agree with that, because you know, it's not normal that you have two top tier drivers. Like, teams want to have a 1 and a 2. Like, Mercedes is setting themselves up very well where they'll have George Russell and Kimi. Kimi's an obvious 2 to George, and it just leads to less drama. So if they want to have two alpha dogs, it's not on the FIA to manage them, it's for the team to manage them.
The team's not managing them though. Like, and I was thinking, okay, so the way I consume media is really, really horrible. It's bad. I immediately forget what happened. Like, we'll watch a movie and I don't know tomorrow what that movie was about.
What happened in X-Men Dark Phoenix, which we watched yesterday?
So who?
X-Men Dark Phoenix, which we watched yesterday.
What happened in it?
Yeah.
Jean Grey is alive. That wasn't the
She
point of this
literally isn't,
conversation.
though.
Oh,
She dies at the end.
okay, that wasn't the point of this conversation. My point was I don't remember what happened at Monza, the specifics between the slow pit stop. Even though we talked about it on this podcast, I don't remember specifically what happened. But I was thinking today, Oscar had a slow pit stop. Like, was that they didn't have.
Do you want me to just explain what happened in Monza?
Yeah,
So at
recap
Monza,
that for me.
Oscar was behind Lando, and McLaren, being idiots, hitted Oscar first, which would undercut Lando. Lando then had a slow stop, and because the team decided to do a weird strategy, it made Oscar out in front. Now, it's not necessarily that the second stop would have been slow, but it's just that they were unclean in the way they did it, so they asked for Oscar to move over.
Okay.
Excuse me, I threw up my mouth. That's why in this race, Lando was leading, and they said, "Do you want us to let Oscar pit first?" And he was like, "No, because stupid. You don't
No,
let your
he said
teammate
yes,
undercut."
and then he said no.
Yeah, well, he's finally learning.
Which, yeah, I don't think they should be giving their drivers options like that from a team standpoint.
I got half an hour less sleep than I normally get, and I'm fucking fighting for my life right now.
But I was thinking Oscar had a slow pit stop today, so like he very well could. And I would love to be a fly on the wall in these post-race team meetings, but like he very well could be like, "What the heck? You made me give up a position because Lando had a slow pit stop. Well, I had a slow pit stop, so where's the return?" Like, there's just no return for him. He was really whiny this race, and I was like, man.
What else you want to talk about?
Okay, so we're done with the race, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you started repeating yourself.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just figured that was a cue to keep it moving.
McLaren got the Constructor Championship.
Oh my God, McLaren did. We didn't even talk about that. I mean, yeah, it felt for sure all season. Like, I don't think anyone was surprised at this, but yeah, I forgot they got it. So they're the champions now.
Yeah.
And that's about as exciting as it felt.
Which I think now that they're the champions, they might have. It'll be a worse free-for-all, I think, between the team.
Which it should be. That's how it should be. Let the boys play. There is literally no risk to the team whatsoever. The team gets no money, no benefits off of a driver championship. Yeah, let the boys play.
The only like real interesting racing we had was that really towards the back, there was like one slip up with Nico. Singapore was boring last year. Singapore was boring this year. No safety car.
They changed the layout of Singapore last year. I don't know if you know that. They changed the layout of Singapore last year. So it was to promote passing. What it's really done is passing's the same, but mistakes are less likely, because it used to be like a really tight 90-degree corner they had to go through. It was under a bridge, and it would go under the grandstands. And so they just don't have that like degree of difficulty anymore. And because of that, no one crashes. And yeah, we had no safety car. There's been a safety car in every Singapore race for every single year that it's happened, except the last two, because this new layout sucks. And these new ground effect cars are just too good.
It's just so boring. Like,
where are we going next?
Mexico City.
Mexico City. That'll be also boring. it'll be also pretty lame.
Yeah.
It's not a great race. It's a long lead up to turn one, but that's about. There's like no other passing opportunities for the rest of the lap.
Yeah, so that was pretty boring.
Remember last year when Max just fucking drove Lando right off the road?
I need Max to do things like that. Like,
but it looks so much worse when you're that far back.
Fuck it. Who cares?
I know Max doesn't.
It's Max Verstappen, yeah.
You want to do NLS stuff? Or do you have anything else on this topic?
Not really. Aston Martin, we talked about like together previously that they just are really underwhelming this season.
Yeah.
Not doing interesting.
Well, that is, I will say, like, not that the 22-23 era was fun to watch as a fan, because it was always Max, but it was cool because you got really invested in the lower team battles.
And there was a lot more.
Yeah, and so now we just don't seem to get that because we're covering something else, which is good. I'm not complaining about it. We have a very close championship this year. We have a close championship, but somehow the most boring last two races ever.
Yeah, they've been a downer. So the NLS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is it my section?
Yeah.
Is that okay? I'm supposed to talk about that. Those are your notes.
I mean, I do have notes on it.
Saying I watched it is very kind. I may have watched a half a lap of it total.
Okay.
Yeah, so NLS is a Nordschleife specific endurance series that Max participated in last weekend.
And Jan Mardenborough got his
and
license.
Jan Mardenborough from the Gran Turismo movie.
I mean, yes.
where he killed some people.
Okay. He's a real person. But yeah, that movie is about him.
And his car does kill some people.
It was one person.
It wasn't intentional, but it happened. Yeah, his car flew up, went over the
years ago.
fence.
This was not recently.
Eh.
Man, you're making it sound really
I'm
bad.
so sleepy.
It's like so horrible.
It wasn't his fault. The car, they changed. Okay, I should explain it right now.
Yeah, you're
now
just
that
like,
we're
he killed some people.
So this was 10, 20 years ago, a long time ago. He was on the North Side and there's a specific part of the track called airfields where you're going basically like up a hill, and then you crest the hill, and the hill is so sharp that you can catch air. And they changed it now, but it used to be where the cars would catch air a lot there, and did it just right, and it was a perfect headwind, which there was. Then the car would flip up backwards. So it did that, and then it launched over the fence, killed a spectator. Wasn't Yan's fault at all. The movie made it sound like it was the race engineer's fault for keeping him out too long. Utter nonsense. It wasn't about a light car. Now that's why. So GT3 cars race all across the world in all kinds of different championships, and WEC, IMSA, all kinds of local championships. GT3 is super popular, probably the most popular racing series, like as far as number of cars that go in. But at the Nordschleife specifically, they have to have like a different shaped front end where they have louvers above the tires to let air out, so they don't do that again. All that to say, Jan Martinborough and Max were on track together last week.
Okay, so some of the notes I had, I did not watch this race, by the way, but I
put on a little bit of it. I wouldn't say I watched it either. It is free on YouTube, though. NLS, Nordschleife League, all races are free on YouTube.
I got a lot of updates, so I have like some knowledge of the race. So Max won that race. It was his inaugural rookie race. He won.
It was a 6-hour race, I think.
Yeah, 20 seconds ahead of second place, only 6 laps in, which is the most Max Verstappen thing to do.
Yeah, he started in third, and by turn 1 was first.
Yeah, like very good. So I just I thought it was funny that this season Max has not been like terrorizing anyone in F1. And so he was like, gotta switch it up. And he just moved to another thing and just fucking terrorized an entire new group of people.
Yeah, and it's worth saying, so I heard this take on a different podcast. So the NLS starts with the Nürburgring 24, like it's one of the first events in the calendar, but it's on the NLS calendar. So what happens a lot of times is other drivers that are like top tier talent in other series will come to the NLS for that first N24 and then disappear after that. So there wasn't like they were missing a few heavy hitters from the field, to be fair to the other drivers, but it's still the NLS, so it's still like their series. And yeah, Max showed up and won by over a minute by the end of it.
Yeah. Another thing that I saw was the podium celebration. Rookie Max was struggling to open his champagne bottle. They come pre-opened in F1, so
it's like a little tiny. I bet it's like a little. It's also not near as big.
Well, they come pre-open in F1, so he just could not. He couldn't get it open. He was struggling. Yeah.
I saw this meme that was like Max getting out. So he started the race, but it's an endurance race, so he had a teammate. So he got in the car, did the first like hour or whatever, and then got out. And it cuts to the F1 movie when Sonny gets out of the car at the very beginning. He's like, "You lose that lead, I'll fucking kill you." Very Max thing to do.
I know Max is, you either love him or hate him. I loved seeing how happy Max felt after that race. Max genuinely,
he's a douchebag, but I like him.
He loves racing, and I think that that's not something that a lot of the other that's not something a lot of the other drivers we feel like from them. But Max genuinely loves racing, and he comes off as a huge douchebag because of it. But he just wants to get in his fucking car and race cars. Like, he used to bring his
virtual or
sim
physical.
around.
He didn't used to. He still does.
He used to get made fun of when he first joined F1 because he'd bring his sim rig with him to races, so he could like he genuinely loves racing. So I thought it was really fun to see Max happy.
He'll be in a hypercar. I have no doubt in my mind. He's doing the N24 next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you want to go?
Okay.
That's all it took. Speaking of 24-hour races, I'm doing a 24-hour sim race at Le Mans.
Hey, this is not the place to plug your.
No, I'm not plugging it. I'm just talking about it, and I'm just like it's the track is not near as bad as the Nordschleife.
It's also virtual.
But even the virtual Nordschleife is 150 turns, and this is like 40 or something like that. But yeah, I mean,
how many followers are you doing this for?
I don't know why we got a roast. I don't know what we're doing here. I'm just saying I got to practice later. It's kicking my ass for trying a new car. All right, I guess I'll go fuck
How
myself.
did we just go from Max Verstappen to you
You
being
said
like,
sim
by
racing.
the way,
I didn't
yeah,
plug anything.
yeah, because the F1 driver used to get made fun of for bringing his sim around, not you playing in our basement.
You're making fun of me now. I'm just as persecuted as Max Verstappen.
Oh my God.
We
Okay.
also both have terrible dads. Anyway, carry on.
What else did I have? Okay, F1 Academy, Hello Kitty Grandstand. So okay, so for Vegas, they announced last week a collaboration with F1 Academy and Hello Kitty and Friends.
I normally like go to my office for work every day.
I
I
work from
happened to
home.
be at home for whatever, I don't even remember why, but when this got announced and I just heard screeching coming from her office and I'm like, what? What's wrong?
So excited. Yeah, so they made the Turn 3 grandstand for the F1 Academy partnership, a Hello Kitty grandstand, which means you get exclusive merch, 2 pieces of exclusive Hello Kitty F1 Academy merch. They are gonna have like a 36 merch spread, collab spread at the race
Which
in
hasn't
Vegas.
been announced yet.
No.
Okay.
I know what merch we're getting. We're getting a beanie and a scarf.
Free with the tickets.
Yeah, free with our grandstand tickets. They're gonna have a Hello Kitty F1 cafe pop up at the race. They're gonna have Hello Kitty and friend activations in Vegas. I'm so excited. I
Yay.
I am so excited. I emailed our sales rep like 8 minutes after the announcement came out just to make sure that our tickets were automatic. And I was like, if not, I'll pay whatever difference it
She was
is.
ready to. Yeah,
I
we
was
already
gonna
spent more than enough on the
I was
tickets.
gonna hand over our credit card so quickly. So yeah, very excited for that.
So I want to ask now. You're aware of a lot of other racing series, and you like watch
Uh-huh.
them when I put them on. But you've now like paid attention to a little bit of F2, paid attention to a little bit of F1 Academy.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely see like WEC and IMSA. What if you were to get into another series next year and like follow it as it happens? What would you be interested in?
Um, I
Because
may
this is how it starts. Everybbe gets F1 usually, and then they're like, "Oh, this is they do a couple few years of that, and they're like, well, there's more out there." So what do you think?
so like I wanna okay, so I've watched more WEC. Whenever you put those on, I always end up and
She's
those are
locked in. I'll
yeah,
usually leave. I'll leave the room.
like those are kind of like a golf thing, I think, where like you just put it on like you put golf on for the day and you walk around. I end up always watching WEC.
Yeah. You mean
Like
like endurance
24-hour,
racing?
yeah.
Just put it on and kind of have it on in the background. What I do.
Yes. But I'm saying I always end up watching like I ended up watching Le Mans, I ended up watching 24-hour Nürburgring,
Man, Le
like
Mans was so good. We're gonna talk about it in a little. Carry on. Sorry.
like I watch. So I think endurance racing like that would be I think I could get into WEC specifically. I've watched a few IMSA races with you and I just don't really care for IMSA. But I do think F1 Academy, like I would want to watch something in the F1 cat like an F1 feeder, I think. I think F1 Academy would be good or even F2 because going back to the F1 Academy race versus Singapore this week, like I feel like from the races I've watched, you either have a really good feeder series race or you have a really good F1 race.
Yeah, it usually is that way. It
It's
makes it to where like it's more palatable if you have a shitty F1 race, like because you got a good F2 race or
yeah,
whatever.
that's what I was thinking. Like at least I like Singapore sucked, but Singapore for F1 Academy was good. So maybe I should start watching one of those feeder series. That way, at least there's something to look forward to.
Yeah,
Um,
usually people go one of two ways. It's either like the F2 route because it's the same rule set, it's the same tracks, the cars look the same, it's a lot of recognizable teams because of the junior programs. Like that's easy for some people, and then also you get to see like where they go and go into F1. And then some people go the other route of like, well, I see F1, let's watch a different type of racing, and they'll add NASCAR, IndyCar, WEC. They'll do something different to see a different rule set.
yeah.
So you think it would be like an F2? F3's over for the season. F2 has 2 more races, Qatar and
I do want to. So
Abu
when we
Dhabi.
plan for our like F1 races, I do want to go to a F1 race that has F2 or F3
Yeah, because
at
we
it.
somehow
We've only
by the
done
end of
F1
next year we'll have been
Academy.
to 4 different F1 Grand Prix, and none of them, 2 of them had F1 Academy, 3 of them had F1 Academy. Funny enough,
Nuh-uh.
they will have. Zandvoort has F1 Academy.
Will they have it next year? I
Vegas,
don't know.
Coda had it the year we went. Japan
Yeah.
was the only one that didn't have. Which, by the way, like it kind of sucks to go to the race weekends when there's no feeder series because Japan, like, there's just less to watch.
They had like the Porsche Super Cup or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
You still got to get there early, like, because it's a pain in the ass to get. That's one thing that I don't think people realize. It's a pain in the ass to get to all of these races.
Vegas
They're
will
none
not
that are
be.
easy.
Vegas will be very easy.
Huh? I don't know.
Like, I'm thinking I don't even go to qualifying for F1 Academy. I just show up for.
So excited about the Hello Kitty F1 Academy grandstand. Won't even go to qualifying. We
For the
literally have
F1
tickets.
Academy race. I will go to I will go to every. I mean, I guess if it's in between practice sessions for
It
F1,
will.
but
Yeah, it will be. It'll be between
so
FP1
excited
and
for
FP2.
my Hello Kitty seat. So excited. In other stupid niche Kennedy things that I'm interested in, there were 2 K-pop groups at Red Bull Racing this weekend for Singapore Grand Prix. We had Enhypen and 17. I'm a big K-pop fan. I don't listen to those 2 groups. I do think I'll start listening to Enhypen because I heard they're hated in Korea because they're man haters. So I might start listening to them.
This is what I'm up against, boys and girls.
But so Enhypen went, and Enhypen actually was getting fought between Red Bull and Williams. They have one of their members, Jay. He's a really
going to
big.
celebrate Williams' 9th place.
Well, he was really excited for Carlos Sainz last weekend podium. But yeah, one of their members, Jay, he's a really big F1 fan. I think he's Canadian. I don't know for sure. Like I said, I don't listen to that group, but they went, and then 17 also went with Red Bull Racing. So
that's cool. Baby Metal was the headliner.
They also had G-Dragon, which he is a K-pop idol. He was a part of the group Big Bang, which is a little bit older, but
that was a fun little detour we just took.
I really like K-pop. Again, I don't listen to those groups.
Should I make fun of you like you made fun of my sim racing thing?
If I was talking to one of my K-pop friends, and they were like, I don't watch F1 races, but like, wouldn't it be really cool if they had like a halftime show that AT's performed at? And I was like, okay. They do concerts for F1 races.
Yeah, they can't do a halftime show. But
we're not stopping at lap 32 and bringing out a performer. But
well, NASCAR does. They call them competition cautions or stage cautions, where they do have like, if it's a 200 lap race, they'll have like one at lap 75 and then another at lap 150 to pack the field back up just for funsies, which I could kind of get behind. I don't know. I feel like there's such a fine line of like, how do you preserve the integrity of the sport versus how do you make it fun to watch? Because it has to be fun to watch. It sucks, but it has to have a good viewership. And so you make them either more competitive, or you add gimmicky shit like that.
That being said, if ATs or Stray Kids announced they were headlining any of the races, I mean, Vegas would be preferred because we already have tickets, but I'd most likely buy tickets to another race if they announced.
Crazy.
I mean, I've spent an insane amount of money on K-pop tickets, comparable to an F1 race, and that's a 2-hour concert, so 3-hour concert.
I want to do my lore bit. Can I do my lore bit? It's time for that.
Do we want to finish with lore, or let's finish with lore? Yeah.
Did we do Biggest Loser? We didn't do Biggest Loser.
Okay.
Biggest Loser, Oscar Piastri.
I'm gonna say Biggest Loser. Lewis Hamilton.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of a brake failure?
Well, I felt like Lewis was having. Well, now I feel bad because I forgot about Roscoe briefly.
Yeah.
Now I feel bad for picking him.
His dog died and his brake
Oh,
stopped working.
Man. Okay.
He's doing well too.
So, and that was my reasoning for picking him for Biggest Loser. But now I do feel like that's just a mean pick. But I was
a shitty person.
Dude, I know. I was picking him for Biggest Loser because I felt like he was doing really good. Like really well. I thought the early pit stops from Ferrari and Red Bull were really going to pay off. Lewis qualified like, I don't know, 5th or 6th maybe, or 7th. I don't know. It was somewhere in the middle of, but he made it to Q3, right?
But you think he's the Biggest Loser?
Well,
Why?
and I thought he was Biggest Loser because I thought he was doing really, really well. And then they did that random pit stop for him towards the end, and to move him to take him off hard
and he started doing better.
And I was like, oh my God, he's doing even better. Like, he was quicker than Charles. He was really close to Kimi. I don't remember if he overtook Kimi. But then
I think he did. He overtook Kimi and then had the brake failure.
Yeah, and then he had the brake failure, and I was like, "That's just bad
but
luck."
It wasn't
like, this was the first
full
race
failure. Like, he still had brakes, but anyway. Carry on.
But yeah, I was like, Lewis is doing really well, and then it just like dropped off for him, and like I felt like that was a Biggest Loser scenario, just because like he was so close to having like a really good Lewis race.
See, I'm gonna go Oscar Biggest Loser because it seemed like last race we saw a chink in the armor, and he
And
had that crash in qualifying and then crash in the race, and then like he, it's not I mean, you don't know if he did anything wrong to get overtaken on turn two like that, but he just could not recover and just was whining about it the whole time. And like he wasn't even chasing him down. He was at the end because Lando was held up by Max, but it wasn't organic.
Oscar's taken a play from Lando's book and learned that the louder and the more annoying you are on the radio, the better things work in your favor.
Except it didn't.
So next race.
Except it didn't work in his favor. His biggest loser. Anything else we got? It's a short episode. We gotta start.
I know. Well, because every time I try to talk, you're like, okay, next, and you just move on.
Well, I've just been listening to the episode, so I'm trying to get like a feel for the pacing of them. And there's just some stuff that I feel like drags on.
Okay, well, okay, so we did biggest loser. Oh, I had a thing that I wanted to talk about, which I saw online was, and this is going to kind of circle back to the race, which I know you think is going to drag on and it's going to be annoying because you're annoying, but so Lando did an interview this week about, and someone had asked him like,
do we want to get real conspiratorial and talk about Lando?
What's conspiratorial about Lando?
Conspiratorial.
I'm not going to talk about Wags. I'm not going to do it. So anyway, Lando did an interview and I don't remember what the question was, but he basically was talking about whether he thinks he's better than Max or like, and so.
Which you have to answer no.
And so he did say no. He gave a really long-winded version like no, but this is the quote he did. He never goes to 101%, but he will always be at 100%, and when he has a bad day, he is at 99%. And it is hard to beat someone who was born into an F1 seat. If I could go back and choose how to be a better driver, I would also have a mom and dad who are racing drivers. Start when you are a baby in the paddock, start karting at whatever age you did, and do more testing than everyone else. I would be a better driver now if I did all of those things. So people have to catch up because he was made to be in the position he is now. But he is also making the most of that, and that is why he has 4 world championships.
I mean, that's true.
I heard
like
that.
What he said is true, but it's also like people like the story of the Lewises and of the Estebans that like didn't come from money and didn't start well. So like you're basically saying like my story's less interesting now.
There was a lot of arguments online. One of them is that yes, Max's dad was a racing driver. Jos Verstappen was a shitty driver. Like he was not a good F1 driver. He was very mid at best. And he is temperamental, and I'm sure that worked against Max on more than one occasion. Lewis, the most decorated F1 driver on the grid. Sir Lewis Hamilton, his parents were not rich. Like you said. His
dad like slept on the couch.
Yeah.
And, he works 3 jobs or whatever it was.
I thought it was just such an out of touch comment for Lando, and I read that and I was like, he doesn't want it. Like, and that was just another instance where I was like, Lando does not want this. Like, he just completely disregarded his own advantages, and these men are they're all millionaires. Lando is his parents were rich as fuck. Like, he was not struggling. So for him to be like, everyone else has better opportunities than me, and that's why Max is better, I was like, you're just so whiny.
Yeah, it's because you should play into how you don't have as many opportunities and be like, I'm still successful regardless.
And I'm higher than him in the driver championship. Yeah. And then,
Max is better, though. I mean, I'm not you see there's a glowing 44 on the wall. Like, Max is the best driver on the grid, bar none, full stop, no questions.
Yes.
I don't think anyone should be able to question that.
If we put Oscar, Lando, and Max in equal machinery, Max would demolish them every single day. That being said, Lando's quote was just completely out of touch and just another, I don't think he's gonna go and get it, but yeah.
Okay.
F3 prize money, $1 million.
Oh, I like this. Yes, they correct me wrong. They announced that the winner will get $1 million worth of funding to go to their F2 seat.
I don't think that's it. That's incorrect.
Okay. That's why I said correct me wrong.
Yeah. I'm glad that I take notes because I have the screenshot he sent me of this. No.
Okay.
Because you're wrong. So
I just tried to see the phone.
It's a $1 million prize fund. The champion gets 300,000 euros. I don't know the symbol for currency.
What?
I don't know the symbol.
Is it a C looking thing or is it a? Yeah, that's the euro symbol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So pound is like a weird L.
Okay. So 300,000 euros. In second place gets 250,000 euros. Third place gets 200,000, fourth place gets 150, and then fifth place gets 100,000. And the prize also requires the drivers to be racing for F2 the next season, or it goes to the next highest placed driver.
Yeah, which that money would go directly to the F2 teams. So we may have talked about this in a previous episode, but it cost about $2 million a year to be an F2 driver, to be a driver. It cost about $2 million. It might be more because that fact is a couple of years old, but yes, they pay the teams for their seat. Drivers in F1 don't get paid until they get to F1. They don't, like F2, F3, they pay to be there. And then same with like WEC, IMSA. They only get paid once they get to the top of the grid.
Yeah. So I was going to look up, like, I'm glad you knew how much it cost, because I was going to look up how much it even cost.
It may be, that figure may be a little out of date because it's a few years old, but yeah, it's about $2 million a year. It's about $1 million a year to be an F3, about $2 million to be an F2.
So like the 350,000, it's great. It's kind of not a lot. Like $1 million would be way better, but.
And then to put that in perspective, like I think Logan Sargent's salary was like $500,000 a year at Williams. So like Yuki was making $1 million.
I thought it was like $1 million. That's crazy.
Still, it's less than it. Like the entry level salaries are less than it costs to be an F2.
That sucks ass. No wonder these drivers' parents are rich.
That's what I mean. Like that's why it is the best drivers in the world. But
these drivers have a lot. They have a lot in their favor to get there. Yeah, a lot. Like the
best drivers in the world now. Would they be, if the playing field is equal, would they be the best drivers in the world? And some championships.
Is a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, some you should be clipping things.
Oh fuck.
Just makes your editing harder.
Yeah, it does.
Do you know?
Can I do it again?
Warm it up? No.
Oh wait.
Bottom left corner. There you go. It's way too late.
Yeah.
Now,
okay. Well,
you also, I think, just changed this. Oh no, you cleared the black flags in our racing session. Anyway, never mind. Some of the other championships that I like to watch, which it is hilarious because I keep saying they're free on YouTube, but that's to give them like some good PR. Like a lot of these championships are free on YouTube. For example, where I'm going with this is a lot of these smaller championships will have like a funding structure in place. So I know a kid who is in one of these feeder series, and he's in like, it's kind of like the F4 basically of WEC. And if they win this series, then they get a fully funded seat in the F3 of WEC. So they're going from Ligier European Series, hopefully to the Le Mans Cup, which is what Marta was in that I was talking about earlier. And so that's kind of the series makes a little bit of a ladder for them. And he's even like splitting the car with a teammate to make it cheaper. So their races are an hour long. They can do it solo, but they are splitting it with a teammate like the Cabesi sisters, Cabesi sisters, in order to cut down the cost. So like that's how crazy the cost is for these championships.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you had to add.
Yeah, I don't have anything. My mind is just blanked after you said that, and I'm just going
We're gonna have
through.
to cut more now if you keep this up.
And okay, so also related to money, they've increased the cost cap for F1,
which makes sense. It really should be. And I have a hard time with this because I think the cost cap is great. I think the cost cap has unequivocally made the championship better and the championship closer.
I've only known F1 with a cost cap.
Yeah, but like. It also led to a lot of layoffs because these top teams have like 1,200 employees and they just can't support that many under the cost cap. So, I think it needs to be managed smartly, and this was a good change to make to match inflation.
I had a lot of questions in my mind. I think they really border on being political, so I don't want to go into them.
Well, I don't know what they are. I can't help you there.
Well, do these teams really need that many employees, like to function?
Well, that's the argument that they didn't. They did in the no cost cap era, but I don't think people realize how crazy the no cost cap era. So the cost cap is going up to what? It was like 146 million euros or something like that.
Uno momento.
Okay, well she's pulling that up.
135 to 215 million. Okay. It's currently 135. It's
215 is a bigger jump than I thought it was, but even still, back in 2020, the last non-cost cap year, Mercedes spent 460 million euros on their car. And so they could and then Haas
on just the car, or that was their
budget.
Okay.
But Haas, for example, only got to spend even the 120 million cost cap or whatever it was 3 years ago. They for the first time spent the whole cost cap. So it used to be a really drastic difference in the amount of funding these teams had. So 1,200 people when you're spending that much money is probably easy to spend.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Do you really need 1,200 employees to run an F1 team?
I think
I
we found
mean,
out.
Haas and Williams and them, right? Like they're functioning a lot more lean, and they're obviously not doing as well. But is that really like down to the labor, or is that just
Yeah, I don't
like?
know.
And then I was like, this is going to get kind of political because I don't know what the unemployment rates are in Europe. Like, I don't know. Do they need these jobs? Like, is this really going to help their unemployment rates because people are struggling
Why do we
there?
care?
Like,
Why
and
are
then
we talking about the unemployment rate? What does
because
that have to do with anything?
because that would build more jobs in
But
the
the
area.
teams aren't holding. I mean, 1,200 jobs is small in grand scheme of an economy.
But
We're
if
gonna move on. 'Cause
yeah.
This is a silly conversation.
Well,
It's not like the 1,200 employees is propping up the entire European economy.
well, but it could be in England. I don't know what England's population is.
34 million or something like that.
Did you just make that up?
No, it's about a tenth of the U.S.
Okay, well, 1,200 in one area would be a lot of jobs.
I couldn't
Multiply
tell you how,
that by like 3 at least.
I couldn't tell you how F1 teams impact the local economy.
Any British people in the comments, tell us how the F1 teams impact the local economy.
I may have been thinking of Canada's population.
And
They may be in the,
also
like, 60
recommend me
million.
any British meals that I should make.
Oh my God, she like every couple months is like, I gotta try this whatever
I
buddy.
gaslight myself
And then
into
it's
thinking British
terrible
food is good. I
all
don't
the
know
time,
why.
and now
Every
she
time.
wants to try beans on pasta with mayonnaise and unmelted cheese. I don't know why they refuse to melt cheese. British people, you can melt things. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know. Every time I see these videos on TikTok and I'm like, I gotta try that. And I don't even like.
You're easily influenced.
I am easily
You're so
influenced. I don't even like beans, and I am like, I almost went to Hy-Vee last night at like 8 p.m. just to get some beans.
We're having Mexican food today.
Are we? I didn't
Yeah.
know if we were gonna have Mexican or an Indian.
Either way, it was enough flavor to kill a British person.
Yeah,
All right, this is getting.
that's all I
off the
have.
rails.
So you can talk about
We'll do our lore update.
Not-
So our
Felipe Massa,
no
Robert
Kubica.
Kubica.
Kubica is I think how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I'm not going to because it's not spelled that way.
Okay.
But that I'm almost not Polish, so. Yeah, so we want to do a lore section of every podcast. This one's over Robert Kubica, Kubica, however you want to call it. He's a Polish racing driver. He has a really amazing story. So he started driving for F1 in the like late 2000s. He kind of peaked in his career at Renault. Renault moved to Lotus, so they sold and changed the company name to Lotus. So he was going to drive for Lotus in the 2011 season. He also had a Ferrari pre-contract to drive with Ferrari in 2012 season. So it wasn't like a guaranteed seat because it was a pre-contract, but I think the way it was set up is like as long as nothing weird happens, he would move to Ferrari in 2012. 2012 was the year that Ferrari had a very good shot at the championship against Sebastian Vettel. We're not going to get into that whole thing. Anyway.
Was Schumacher racing for them in 2012?
Yes. No. I don't know.
Big fan. You don't know anything.
Okay. So Robert, in the off season between the 2011 and 2012 seasons, he went rallycross racing and had rally racing, and he had a horrendous crash. So I have this pulled up for my wife here. I suggest you guys Google it, but basically he was in a rally car. The guardrail that he hit went through the car.
I thought that was
the back.
part of the car's frame when I saw that.
No, it went out. You can't really see it well in this picture, but it went out the back of the car, and it went all the way through where Robert was sitting, severed his right arm from his body. Essentially, it was like barely hanging on with like a little bit of skin. He was in the car for several hours as they like cut him out, and then he had like 10 hours of surgery after that to try and save his arm. And now his arm is like a few inches shorter than his left arm. So his right arm is a few inches shorter than his left arm.
And that's a fair price to pay for your life.
Yeah. I mean, it was a bad, like I can't stress this enough. It was a bad crash. Like that's the aftermath of the car. Anyway, so he doesn't really have full functionality in his right hand. You can kind of see it. Like you can see him on the podium and stuff. It's kind of like he can't really like articulate his fingers individually. Like it's kind of held together like this.
I forgot we had a second dog.
Yeah, Hunter's coming down.
Yeah.
So he spent years and years recovering and like trying to get back to where he was in F1. He did come back as a reserve driver for Williams, and then eventually in 2019 drove full-time for Williams, and it was like a big deal that he was coming back. He also filled in for Alfa Romeo later on as a reserve driver, and then filled in I think in 2020 when Giovinazzi had COVID.
Did
think it was
he
given to
already have a seat in 2012, like with F1, and then
he would have had a seat.
Okay.
Yeah, with Ferrari. And then he had this massive crash. Well, anyway, he then went to WEC. So he landed in WEC.
The next year or a few years later?
I'm saying it's over several years
Okay.
of recovery. So now he's in WEC. He's in a customer Ferrari. So Ferrari fields 2 hypercar teams in WEC, and then there's a customer that basically bought the car and then operates itself. So there's 3 Ferrari, excuse me, burps. There's 3 Ferrari hypercars in WEC, but one of them is a customer car. So it's kind of like how McLaren has Mercedes engines, but it's not a Mercedes, you know. So you would never think they were going to beat him. Anyway, in this year's 24-hour Le Mans, Robert Kubica drove like an absolute fucking hero for the last 4 hours of the race, 5 stints total by himself with one arm, basically, because he didn't have full functionality in his right arm, to win Le Mans in a customer car. That's only ever happened one other time where they won in a customer Ferrari, and Ferrari didn't enter. So it's the first time Ferrari's ever been beaten by a customer car in Le Mans, and Kubica did it. And so that's just kind of my fun feel-good story.
Do we think F1 or Ferrari wants to get out of the F1 business? Because Max Verstappen won the NLS in a Ferrari.
Well,
yeah.
GT3 is a little different because like the GT3, I mean, they are different cars, but they're essentially a spec championship.
That's what I'm saying. Do we think Ferrari needs to get out of F1? They're clearly
Ferrari
doing better in other series.
Ferrari does very well in WEC. They do very well.
Does Robert Kubica, is he the one that has a kid in F2 or F3, or is that?
There's a handful of those.
Oh, really?
I don't think there's a Kubica in the feeder series right now.
Okay. So you said he was in a rally, you said rally cross and then also
No,
just
not
rally, but
He
what's
was
the
in rally.
difference?
Rally cross is half asphalt, half dirt, and it's like on, like they would do it in Coda, and they would make half of Coda dirt, and half of it would be like the track. Rally cross is actually incredibly fun to watch because it's like you can see the entire lap, and they're just these little like 600 horsepower VW Beetles and shit. They go out there and they have like jumps and they have Joker laps. So they have like the regular track layout you have to do, and the Joker lap is like, imagine if you had to go through the pit lane or something, but it's like you have to do that one time per race, like guaranteed.
So Jos Verstappen.
The dogs are absolutely going at it behind us.
So Jos Verstappen and Carlos Sainz Sr., are they rally drivers or rally cross?
Rally,
Okay.
not rally cross.
Okay.
Rally cross is more like stadium. So rally is more like pure motorsport, whereas rally cross is more like entertainment motorsport.
So rally's like what they do through like city streets where
Yeah.
it's like, okay.
long distance kind of stages where you don't know the whole stage. Rally cross is a very short, like sub 1 minute lap. It has some great like drone shots though, because the drones will chase the cars. Ken Block did a lot of rally cross, like he made most of his name in rally cross. Tanner Faust, rally cross. Scott Speed, rally cross. Rally
Ken
cross
Block's driver is Leah Block, who's in F1 Academy.
Yeah, her father.
Yeah, I know. I'm just full circle for people that don't know about motorsport because you said this was beginner friendly.
Yeah, so rally cross is it's very fun to watch, but it's much more on the like showmanship, you know, sell tickets kind of thing than like pure motorsport.
Okay, interesting. I think I could probably get into rally.
Rally's hard to watch because you don't know anything,
Yeah.
and they also do like it's one car at a time doing a time trial. A rally cross. I'll show you some rally cross videos after this. They're super fun.
No thanks.
But yeah, that's my lore. Let us know in the comments if you have a lore bit you want to do next. Otherwise, I think we're gonna do, what do we say, the Felipe Massa crash gate, which I have to do some actual research on.
Yep.
Not just Google a few things real quick. Well, I think that's about all I got. About all you got?
I think so, because you'll just cut me off if I have anything that you find boring.
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you are on YouTube, the best way to support the podcast is like and subscribe and leave a comment. If you're on Spotify, the best way to support the podcast is to follow and leave a review. I think we have 11 listeners on Spotify, so we're really crushing it. And then if you want to see this early, you can become a tier 1 member, the F1 tier member on my YouTube.
He's not going to read them because he doesn't remember what their names
I don't have
are.
it pulled up, but it's the same 5 as last time. It's the same, and before that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Is next week the next race?
Nope.
Oh,
It is a bye week.
and we are out of town, so we won't be able to record.
We
today.
are out of town, so yep.
We'll be going. So there will not be an episode next week, but there will be an episode the week after that. And then I don't think we've figured out how we want to handle the off season yet. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And wife's gonna play us out.
Meow.
Fascinating.
It does sound like a cat, I
I
think.
told you.